Gertis will be here very shortly. He is stuck in a little bit of that nasty traffic that we all deal with. So without further ado, I don't know if you want to hear a little bit about my London trip, but as our illustrious mayor over here knows, it was incredibly productive for not only economic development, but for tourism. And the one day that we spoke to a very large group, they were actually inspired by the comments that I made as it related to Pinellas County and how we have these sun-drenched, beautiful beaches. And so two people that were there actually booked a trip to Pinellas County while we were speaking, and I just thought that was incredible. And then I want to share with you the comments that the head of Virgin Air made to us while we were meeting with him, and why they chose Tampa Bay to come and make their next footprint. And it was because they found it remarkable how we all got along and managed to work together, and that they saw that Tampa Bay was a growing and thriving region that was changing and would continue to change, and they wanted to be part of that. And their flights have been extraordinarily full and robust ever since they launched. And so, do you want to speak, Mayor, on any of the other points that were discussed? Because we did a lot in a very short time frame.
You know, I think you covered it pretty well, Madam Chair. The interesting thing, Mayor Welsh asked while we were there from Dr. Johnson about the businesses in Pinellas County from the UK, and I think he said there was 50 plus or 37 plus businesses that do an annual $50 million of financial impact here in Pinellas County, and that when we went to the one group, KPMG, they said there's another one that we're a finalist to have here in the area. So that's all looking up, and primarily now because we have 2 direct flights with British Air and with Virgin Atlantic to the area.
We had one of the head people of J.P. Morgan Chase speak to us, who had 32 years of experience in that arena, and talk to us about how blockchain technology as well as artificial intelligence was changing the way that we do everything. And specifically, I thought for the hoteliers that are here, she focused a lot on the banking and payment systems for folks that are coming from abroad, and how robust the systems are now that in a matter of seconds, invoices can be picked up and paid, and that they were working really, really hard to keep on improving the payment and processing system. And I found it really incredibly interesting, even though it certainly isn't in my wheelhouse. But the one comment that she made that I thought was incredibly profound, good morning, was the fact that she said, in this world we're living in, with so many things changing so quickly, it is absolutely critical that we be disruptive and be prepared to be disrupted. Because if you didn't, then you would lose everything. And I thought that was really a very new and different way of thinking about things, that, you know, we just absolutely cannot afford to keep on doing what we've always done if we want better and better results. So with that said, thank you for allowing me to represent you and the Pinellas County and economic development. I hope you are proud of the work that we did when you see the final summaries.
Madam Chair, if you wouldn't mind, our rep firm over there, I think, was beneficial.
Yes, there was a lovely lunch that was held on top of one of the largest, highest buildings in London, and the view from up there was absolutely spectacular, and I just was amazed at there were no walls. It was all mirrors and glass, right, Brian? And she made a very nice presentation that showed some of the advertising that they were doing in London to promote Tampa Bay, and that was received very well, especially from the folks from Pasco who have the brand-new Moffitt's campus being built up there, and there were 2 people representing Moffitt that were with us on the trip. It was a large delegation of about 16 people, really, from the Tampa Bay area, including the mayor of Tampa. We had a county commissioner from the Hillsborough Commission, and their EDC person, excuse me, Craig Richards. I've got the hiccups all of a sudden. Guess that means I'm supposed to stop talking. All right, so with that said, shall we have a motion for the approval of the minutes?
I'd make the motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
We have a second? Do we have a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. Do we have any public comments? Where's Stacy? No public comments, okay?
No comments.
And now we have a Creative Pinellas update. I see Barbara St. Clair sitting there. Welcome. Good morning.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for letting me come here today and give you an update. It's been a little bit of time, and I appreciate the opportunity. So I am reporting on good news in the arts. It is our first quarter update for Creative Pinellas. One of the members on my team, Kim DeVito, who is in charge of tourism, reminded me that I come up here and talk about the institution and all the activities we do. She reminded me that we're dealing with human beings, so as I put this up as the county's local arts agency, we partner with some amazing human beings to bring art to spaces and places on the Arts Coast. So I brought to your attention when I was here in the fall that we were in the process of painting a mural, actually 2 murals at PIE, and this is what you see now when you walk out of the airplane on Gate 12. So the minute you hit the tarmac, walk on those stairs, and start down those stairs when you arrive in Pinellas County, you see art. This mural was by Leo Gomez, and then also in the same area is a mural by Laura Spencer. And so art becomes your first breath in when you arrive in Pinellas County if you come through Gate 12. We also have completed 3 murals in the Lillman CRA. What you're seeing here is a mural at Ceramics by Kayla and at the Lillman Innovation Academy, which is a public school, and then also at Tommy Todd's. So we are converting Lillman into an art corridor. And why do we care about that for tourism? So I thought I would share this video that the county produced, and I'm just going to hope that this plays when I press this button. Nope. Okay. Gentlemen from IT, can you help me figure out how to make this mural play? It isn't playing when I press the button.
I don't know where he is today. Pete, are you out there in the Netherlands somewhere?
We were able to get your other videos to play back. It doesn't appear there's a video asset for this one.
Okay, well, thank you then. It's a wonderful video. You can find it online, and it is a tour of the 4 murals that we did on the Pinellas Trail. We're also doing 9 signal boxes along the Pinellas Trail, and it's part of what happens when people come to Pinellas and they experience art as part of their day-to-day activities when they're here in our county. Another thing we have done is our arts in hotels that a number of people on the TDC have had the opportunity to participate in. And this is just an excerpt from one that we did.
I look around and I'm just so in awe with the beauty of life that's around me, and I wonder, well, what is this? What are we doing here, and what is my place in the world? So I'm always asking questions like that.
She's a very creative person. She has a good eye for what she does. She knows, where she likes the art presented and the best way to display it. The Sand Pearl kind of has a classical, old school Florida vibe to it.
So that was just a short clip. We did 11 of these. Each one featured an artist and a hotel and a hotelier. We had close to 200,000 views. We placed the videos in markets that we draw tourists from, and we had 200,000 views on these videos. This is the 5th year, I believe, that we've done this. It's a really successful program. Another place that we show our art that is created by area artists is in our gallery. If you haven't been to the gallery, I invite you to come soon, and I'll tell you why at the end of this presentation. This is our Emerging Artist Show. It shows the room just waiting for audiences, and then this is our Arts Annual. It shows the room full of visitors. I want to introduce you to how artists feel about us when they participate with us.
I never expected my work to be displayed next to a saltwater fish tank. So I think that's a pretty awesome example of what can happen when the art is taken beyond the walls.
So these are all artists that participated in that program. How do we find our artists? Well, we have grants programs, emerging and professional artist grants. Every year we have 20 grantees, 10 mentors, a minimum of 12 live streams, 2 exhibitions, 1 artist laureate, and 250 or more artist blogs. Because each of these artists write on our magazine, our online magazine, about what their experience is as artists. And we have readers for these blogs from around the world. Our newest artist laureate is Mikhail Manchin, and he is an interactive artist who works in the digital space and with installations, and this is his first article in our online magazine. It's called the Arts Coast magazine, and if you have not looked at it, I would encourage you to check it out. We have about 10,000 readers right now for the magazine from across the country and around the world. We are also in the process of doing the final touches on our arts and culture guide that shows all of the arts and cultural institutions throughout Pinellas County. And this year, we have an interactive map. We've had a map before that showed the kind of what you could do when you were in Pinellas County. But with this one, you'll hover over the location, and it will send you to articles on the website and information about what you can visit and what you can do in the location that you're in. We also introduced last year Art In, which is November is Arts Month, and we're going to be doing that again. It was very successful. Those of you who've seen my presentation before have learned a little bit about the Arts Navigator. It allows you to identify the kinds of arts activities you might like, and then it pitches you things to do while you're here visiting Pinellas County. And this is a little ad that
Are you ready for more than a vacation? Discover a new way for you to explore everything the Arts Coast has to offer with Arts Navigator.
We've done a soft launch for the Arts Navigator. We're going to be doing a full on-board launch this fall. One of the things we did to show it to the community, we've been partnering with Visit St. Pete Clearwater much more actively in the last year. We went to Atlanta with them for the Piedmont Art Festival. We went to Orlando with Visit St. Pete Clearwater for the Orlando Arts Festival. And then, of course, we went to Localtopia to talk to our community about the arts and the Arts Navigator. And I wanted to show you something from that. So this is us in the morning, just gotten set up and have some visitors to us. And we're there with the team from Visit St. Pete Clearwater. We had a very large coloring book page. We engaged with people gave them some little merchandise about the Arts Navigator, and then let them paint and draw on this wonderful large-scale coloring book page. Additionally to what I've shown you, over the last 6 months, we've awarded 56 grants to artists and arts organizations, and that includes funding a $500,000 grant that Creative Pinellas received from the NEA. We were one of 26 organizations throughout the country to receive that grant. We've been distributing $450,000 of that. We've had 15,000 visitors to the gallery, 60% of them tourists. 34 artists have graduated from our Co-Starter Entrepreneurial for Artists program. 10,000 monthly visitors to our website. 1,500 grown-ups and children visited our spacecraft traveling arts project. We're getting ready to send about 250 Pinellas County youth to Arts Summer Camp. And we released the RFP for the Pinellas County Cultural Plan. Yay, we're all feeling really good about that. It posted March 29th. It closes May 9th. It's going to be reviewed, and we're hiring a consultant to run the cultural plan for us, and that consultant in the RFP process will be reviewed by VSPC, the County Administrator's Office, Creative Pinellas, and a leader from the arts community. We're going to begin data gathering in Q3, and our first status report to the TDC at the end of the fiscal year. In the meantime, I would like to invite you to our Emerging Artists Reception. It is Class 6 of the Emerging Artists. It's May 4th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then we have 2 other exhibits that are in the gallery this month. We have the 13th Congressional District exhibit on April 12th, and that's a partnership with Pinellas County Schools and the 13th Congressional District to show the award-winning art by Pinellas County High School students, one of which will be chosen to go to Washington, D.C. and be a display in the National Congressional District. And then we also have art from the 6th District Circuit Drug Court on May 24th. And that's a new program for Creative Pinellas. When you go to the drug court, one of the ways that you can participate in helping yourself in your sentence is by creating some artwork. If you go to that courtroom, you'll see that artwork in the courtroom now. We're working with Judge Todd, and we have invited some of the people who have created that art to exhibit in the gallery and to write and tell stories about that, their experience. So we're very excited about that, and I would love to see any or all of you at any of these 3 events. And thank you. That is my presentation. I am available for any questions or comments.
Questions, members? No? Thank you so much, Barbara. That was
Well,
very
thank
interesting.
you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. All right. Now, the next thing on our agenda is the upcoming advertising and marketing programs. Katie, I see you sitting there. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
You're having a good week. Yes, I'm here this morning to present to you the April to September media plan. I was back in September. I presented our marketing strategy and our plans for the fall and winter. And today I'm excited to share with you what we have going on right now through the end of our fiscal year. So the marketing strategy really didn't change much. Our goal is to drive visitation, build awareness and intent to travel to St. Pete Clearwater, increase visitor spend, share with our consumers what we have in the destination, and hopefully they will extend their stay and find things to do in the destination. Position St. Pete Clearwater as a premier destination with a diverse collection of world-class arts and culture, and highlight inclusive and diverse culture of the destination. And we'll do that by prioritizing the markets offering the greatest opportunity to generate visitation, Use a media mix that will reach consumers across multiple touch points, building an integrated campaign with our digital and our traditional. Identify opportunities to elevate the brand through partnerships, activations, unique media opportunities. Market St. Pete Clearwater as a 4-season destination with an annual media presence in many markets, but then also a focus on need periods. And continue to showcase our new Let's Shine brand campaign. So when we looked at our market model for what markets we wanted to concentrate in the fall, the summer and fall, it didn't really change much from what we had been doing in the winter. We really wanted to continue to rely on our developmental markets. They have the most opportunity with our integrated campaigns, but then also look at our maintenance markets, our in-state and key out-of-state markets where we get 50% or more of our arrivals. And so just a reminder what those markets are. Our developmental markets are Chicago, Atlanta, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, and Detroit. And our maintenance markets are Orlando, Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, Nashville, and Cincinnati. Who are we targeting? Who are we trying to reach with our advertising? Adults 25 to 65 with $100,000 plus household income that are likely to travel to Florida on vacation. They have an interest in beach and arts and culture, and they index high on our vibrancy indicators. So we know that they want to have a fun lifestyle, look for a variety of things in their everyday life, curious, want to explore, seek out new things, and have stimulating experiences. Our arts audience is very similar, but they're more likely than the general audience to learn about destinations, to travel. They are heavy travel lifestyle magazine readers and social users. They align with our persona, look for great culinary options, want to be near nature, and want to visit a destination with lots of energy. So when we look at our target audience and who we're trying to reach in those markets, we want to study what media consumption habits do they have? How can we best reach them? And so we put a focus on magazine, radio, television, out-of-home, social media, and internet as our media mix. So our April to September media plan, a lot of things aren't changing from fall, just the time period is. But we're continuing broadcast media, television in the developmental markets. This is cable programming, July to September, 81 million impressions, 30-second spots, running our new Let's Shine brand ads. Broadcast media radio, again, developmental, but also our maintenance markets, where we can focus on high-indexing station formats. We do NPR, messaging promoting our arts and culture. We have some Spanish and Latinx stations where we run Spanish Red advertising. And then urban contemporary, so Black audience, finding those stations in those markets. And we will extend those spot buys with added promotional influencer campaigns and opportunities working with the stations. Again, that's our July to September, that will relaunch in July. This is specific to Tampa Bay. Really, this is Tourism Talk Tampa Bay, a partnership that we've built with the Ryan Gorman Show, where Steve interviews each month a 5-minute segment talking about the business of tourism. And we'll really rely on this for the summer when we really start gearing up a value of tourism and our community campaign that we're working on for National Travel and Tourism Week, which is early May. And then out of home, so our digital billboard networks, this is developmental maintenance markets, and hyper-targeted approach, really focusing on the location and the person and where they're traveling, and we can see that through data. And then creative version, finding the right creative versions for the different markets that we're in, and really trying to be strategic about that. Gas station TV, this is something new we started in the fall, and we're going to continue with it. It's really great. It's a 30-second spot. It comes with audio, so we can really attract the person pumping their gas. And again, this is really targeted. We find the stations that align with our cable households and that align with our target audience and their income levels. And then digital EV charging stations. Again, this is our developmental markets minus Minneapolis, but 8-second spots, and they're full color spots that rotate, and really captive audience. When people are there charging their vehicles, it's an average charging time of 30 minutes, so they will see our spot. And in this instance, we were promoting, this photo right here, we were promoting our winter campaign, our Warm Up to Win, and we have some, share in a minute, some creative executions that we have planned for our out-of-home. And then our rideshare vehicle. So this is something we did last year that we're looking to bring back. Right now we are exploring, plan to do Atlanta. We're looking at some other opportunities in some other markets. But these are full vehicle wraps. So Uber drivers, delivery drivers, we'll take these around. And when we did it last time, we got a lot of response. Some people, some of the drivers were like, hey, I love St. Pete Clearwater. I'd love to keep my wrap on the car a little bit longer. So there's definitely that bonus and added value with that. And when people get in the rideshare cars, they're always asking what's going on here. And so there's that dialogue, and we can have that communication, provide information to the drivers so that they can communicate and be ambassadors for us while they're doing rideshare. This is a new program, really trying to elevate our out-of-home efforts with a trackable call to action. So through our out-of-home vendor, we're able to run some digital ads that will retarget with a banner ad. So anyone that sees our digital billboard, gas station, TV, and then goes to a website that's on a partner network will get served a standard web banner ad, just to really reinforce our message. And that's like, when you see something, on your phone and then you hear it on the radio, it's like that, like they're following me. So really trying to lean into that. And then our print media, so Consumer Travel National, these are our print publications. We see that our print is heavily consumed media for our target audience. And so really leaning into those publications that promote travel and have opportunities for advertorial. Some of these programs are part of the Visit Florida Co-op, so we were able to be a part of the Visit Florida Co-op section, get a discount on our ad rate, and also get some added value. So Bon Appetit, Condé Nast Traveler, Afar, AAA Living, and T-Travel. And then we have some city magazines. So in a lot of our developmental and maintenance markets, really highlighting the city magazines, which is heavily indexed as well against our persona. So you can see some of those publications here pictured. And then arts and culture. So showing our arts and culture message, promoting the Arts Navigator program, and that Barbara just mentioned in our print publications with the QR code, getting people excited to learn about what they can do in the destination. And so here's the Playbill in Chicago, Art in America, National Publications, City and Shores in Miami, and Encore is in Atlanta. And then LGBTQ publications, so Passport and Lavender. Lavender is a publication in Minneapolis, and highlighting pride in our LGBTQ audience. And then Rolling Out is another publication that we have run ads in as an African-American publication, and we're really, and that runs in Chicago and Atlanta. And then our big magazine, our Gulf to Bay Destination magazine, we are working on finalizing that. It will be released late May, early June. 505,000 distribution, and much of that is distributed in newspaper inserts in the New York Times, and also some key newspapers in our developmental and maintenance markets. And so that will launch end of July, early August, to get people excited about fall and winter travel. And then we also will distribute this at our welcome centers and direct mail. So we actually will do a Facebook targeted ads, getting people who are interested in magazines and who have subscribed before. We'll target them with Facebook ads and invite them to get the magazine delivered in their mailbox. Marketing partnerships and activations. So we are working with Tampa Bay Rays that just launched this past month with our annual sponsorship. There's a photo of our outfield wall signage, and that'll be April through October. And we're actually working with them for doing something May 7th for and I think Craig's going to mention that, for National Travel and Tourism Week. We'll be out at the ballpark. Also working with the Union and Phillies, doing an activation there in May up in Philadelphia. And then looking at some other, these aren't confirmed, but we're looking at Piedmont Park Art Festival. We were there last summer in Atlanta, and then Fall Fiesta in the Park in Orlando. So be busy and active with some activations, continuing to promote our message in our markets. And I just want to touch on this, our Arts and Culture Co-op advertising. So this is a pilot program we're excited to launch. It's a co-op program that will be open to all members of the arts community. This is media selection will be targeted to reach in-market visitors and visitors who have booked a trip. So we are looking at billboards, print publications, some digital opportunities for partners to participate in with us. All ads will include the partner images, messages within our arts template, and it'll be a 50-50 cost. So so BVK, our agency, will purchase the media, and then at the total cost, and then invoice our partners for 50% of the cost. So it will be definitely heavily discounted for our partners to participate in these advertising opportunities with us. We're looking for them to launch in May with our media kit and a webinar for our partners. And then the media will run from July to September. And again, this is just a pilot program. We do plan to continue it next year and gather feedback this year on how it performed. And then I mentioned our creative extension. So with our out-of-home advertising, this is a concept that the agency put together. It's called From Playlist to Playtime. And so working with Spotify to create a beach-themed Spotify playlist that we can promote to our consumers. So just a fun way of engaging with them. So on our gas station TVs and our EV charging stations, inviting people to, unwind with St. Pete Clearwater and take a listen to our Spotify and really get them in the mood for taking a trip to St. Pete Clearwater. So a lot of, this has been a fun project, putting together the playlist of some fun, vibrant summer songs to promote the destination. And like I said, we'll promote it on gas station TVs and some print EV charging stations in the cars, so we can have our car-advertised drivers, please play our playlist and encourage your riders to download it too. And that'll be in all of our markets. So we're working on that right now, the creative messaging behind that. But here's just some examples. Let's hit the road. Let's get to the golf. Let's soak up some tunes. Let's shine. Scan the code to enjoy our sunny Let's Shine playlist. And we'll have a creative for a drive market and then more that are more out-of-state markets. Live like a local influencer. So we hosted 2 influencers back in the fall, and we have some more planned for the summer. LGBTQ influencer to travel down for St. Pete Pride and experience our LGBTQ scene. We're working with a couple beer influencers that will come to the destination, and they have large social followings on their Instagram and TikTok and their YouTube channels, and so they will create content, promote it to their audience, and then also provide us with assets that we can promote to our audience. And it's really this authentic voice from someone who's traveling to the destination and has followers who might not be familiar with St. Pete Clearwater, but they're interested because this person that they follow, that they love, and they has the same interests as they is sharing about it. So foodie is another one, and then local accessibility. So bringing someone in who has mobility issues and really having them experience the destination and promote back to their followers. So partnering with 4 influencers this summer to host them in the destination. And working in our developmental markets, so our markets where these influencers have a lot of multitude of followers from different areas, but there usually is a concentration of where their followers are from. So trying to focus on our developmental markets and really kind of driving consideration for us through their stories. And then lastly, I wanted to share with you a special award that we were presented with last week. So the American Marketing Association, AMA Tampa Bay, had their annual big event last week, which was, they call it their Marketer of the Year Awards. And every year they announce their Hall of Fame inductee. And I'm proud to say that Visit St. Pete Clearwater was inducted as the eighth annual member of the Hall of Fame. Previous Hall of Fame winners are Zoo Tampa Bay, who won it last year, the Tampa Bay Bucks, Tampa International Airport, Tampa General Hospital. And the president of AMA Tampa Bay wanted to recognize us for the creative and strategic marketing strategies that we do as an organization, along with our partners in our industry, to really enhance the county's economy. So I'm really proud, and this amazing, this is Zen Glass Studio in St. Pete, who we've worked with before, created this award for them, and I'm excited to share it with you and put it up in our office in really recognition of all of the work. So.
That's great news, Katie. Thank you so much. Well done. So,
And if anyone has any questions about the
any
plan.
questions, members? Yes, Amir?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple things. Great presentation. Congratulations on the award. So your influencers, how can I get you to bring your beer lover to downtown Dunedin?
Yeah, awesome.
Can you reach out to me?
Yeah.
Or something, because I'm telling you, I mean, we've got within walking distance 8 breweries, so that would be a good thing. And
Thank you for inviting us.
And when is St. Pete Pride again? What week? Is it like second week of June?
It's always the last weekend of June, which I think is the 24th, Saturday, the 24th.
Because we have Pride going on in Dunedin too. So I'm not exactly sure of the dates yet. It'll be our second year. It's certainly not a festival like a street parade. It's different, but would love to hook up with you on that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Mr. Russell?
Congratulations. Great program. Great presentation, too. Katie, the co-op program for sports, and you had mentioned the Phillies and the different clubs, but nothing about the Blue Jays in Toronto. I thought you were going to oversee me when you went first. I thought, there goes my question.
That was exactly the other question. If you don't mind, we are going up at the end of June. So if you were going to do something, it would be great if you could do it when we go for our annual trip.
Okay. Yes, I will. Let's definitely hook up with you after. Yeah. Because I know our team always goes up every year, but it's usually later. But let's see if our schedules align.
Anyone else? I thought I saw someone over here with a question. Phil?
I was just going to ask what you're not doing.
What? Oh. All right, well, thank you, Katie, very much.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Great presentation. Thank you very much. I've been seeing in the news about travel advisories from NAACP and the LGBTQ. Is there something being done to address that? And that maybe with Steve too, I've seen it more and more often recently.
Thank you for that question. Actually, from our perspective, we've gotten together with our local PR firm to go through and say, what message do we need to send out there? And I think part of that is how inclusive our destination is. Again, reaching out to those audiences and reaffirming that coming here is a good choice, whether it is the LGBTQ market or the African American market, really in any traveler. So I think it's stressing that, especially when we get calls about that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And now we have an update from the Film Commission.
Oh, actually, Madam Chair, Eddie's going to go next.
Oh, okay.
Part one of two. Matt, I'm just so, when you brought up disruption earlier, that's something that we talk about on a weekly basis with Miles, and how we can start to think about tactics related to content creation utilizing artificial intelligence, or utilizing machine learning technology to better create and deliver ads. So, I think it's one of my great pleasures to work with our Miles partnership team. I got up here and talked last month, so I thought I would give Scott the spotlight this time. But yeah, I'm just thrilled to be working with them. We do so much with them. They help us with having connections at the top of the tourism industry and the top of the technology industry, with connections to Google and other huge businesses. So with that, thanks, Scott.
Thank you very much. I was very excited that somebody from our team.
How about you identify yourself and who you're with before?
Sure. Apologies. My name is Scott Bacon. I'm with Miles Partnership. We've been working with Visit St. Pete Clearwater for 25 years, and my team specifically has been with on the account for 3 years. Very excited that one of our team members, in fact, was selected from our company to attend the NFT Summit in Miami a couple of weeks ago. Lots of disruption, lots of very interesting things with respect to the metaverse, blockchain, NFT, other types of new technologies. So we hope to bring some of those exciting ideas to disrupt, to innovate, and to be making sure that Visit St. Pete Clearwater is progressive in the way that it presents itself as a destination to lots of different audiences. I wanted to start just quick agenda, digital performance review. We're going to talk about our strategy and approach, spring, summer media plans, and then happy to answer any questions that you may have. One of the things I think, and this is kind of the digital performance, but it's completely inappropriate to claim the success here. This is everybody's success. This is the sales team at Visit St. Pete Clearwater and all of the other folks that work hard. This is the creative of the Let's Shine campaign that BVK developed and executed. This is their traditional placements working together with digital, and of course the digital, which is what we do. All of that works together. What you're looking here on the bar graph with the lighter teal is this year, 6 months running, and the darker is same period for the prior year by channel. So when we look at the website, and this is the number of sessions, the visitors to the website over over the 6 month period, you can see how every single channel across the board is really performing extremely well. And the little graph there shows you kind of the year-over-year percentage. Social, we're seeing crazy go nuts growth, but organic, search, social, direct, referral traffic, all of these traffic indicators really, I think, sing to everything working together highly effectively. Not everybody wants to go to a website. Not everybody wants to go to Facebook. Many times people go to a multitude of different sources to get inspired, to get engaged, to plan their travel. And when you're humming along on every single channel, it's really a tremendous sign of the success that everything from traditional, creative, digital, and all of the other efforts are working together. And so great over-indexing, good mix of media, and then finally, I think the other thing is technology. One of the things that we always want to do is innovate. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but innovation sometimes is the learning and the optimizing. So we want to kind of keep that in mind as we work through what we're doing strategically. I also kind of wanted to call out technology again, and we talked about artificial intelligence and machine learning and other kinds of disruption. This is specifically looking at search engine marketing, text-based ads. And one of the things that we're seeing are new technologies. Visit St. Pete Clearwater and the Miles team, we were immediate adopters of some of the best technology that exists in search engine marketing. Dynamic search ads, broad match, performance max campaigns. All of these things are doing things to drive traffic to this site. Check out just across the board, October, November, December, January, February, March, the clicks, up, 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 up. The click-through rate, up, 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 down one, up, up. CPC, the efficiency, how much it costs to get a click, moving in a really nice direction down, which is what we like to see. And the spend was the same. This wasn't the effect of buying more or spending more. This is taking the same set amount every single month and basically just kicking it across all of the effective metrics. So we're really happy about the success of this program. Finally, we want to talk about engagement. Somebody coming to a website is interesting, but if you get somebody to come to a website and they spend about 12 seconds there and they look at one page, it's not terribly interesting. They're not engaged. So one of the things that we do when we're measuring digital performance is make sure that we're looking, are they looking at different pages? Are they spending time on the site? Are they doing things, taking actions, ordering guides, enrolling in email? All of the things that indicate signals of intent to travel or travel planning, that's engagement. And so as you look through January, February, March, the impressions that you're delivering, what you're also seeing is a nice increase, the little line at the top, which is the engagement. We're seeing over a 8.3, 8.4% engagement rate. That's extremely strong. It means that the traffic coming to the site is doing the kinds of things that you want it to do, consuming content, planning travel. And we talk a lot about the fact that digital today versus 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you got a banner. You know, you went to a website, you saw a little picture, you saw a couple words, and that's pretty much what you saw. This is an example of something that's kind of occurring on all different kinds of levels. It's just one ad unit. It's a new ad unit for this year, and it's native. Native means that the unit, the ad unit or advertising, is contextually aligned with other content. It's coming up in Fodor's Travel. So we might place this ad, for example, in a Fodor's article about great beaches in Florida. And what it also allows you to do is see that. We know that people that are reading this are interested in beaches in Florida. So we're going to promote St. Pete Clearwater as the beach of choice. And when you click into the ad unit, this is what makes it a rich media ad unit. It's not a picture, it's interactive. You can go through and there's a variety of different new restaurants, spending time, getting outdoors, different kinds of things, and you go through and it's like a little quiz. And one of the things that we're seeing is people are spending a lot of time. It's really nice and effective too, because this does not necessitate a website visit to get the content and explore the destination. You can do it all in the ad unit. It's very different from a decade ago when it was just a banner ad. This is actually conveying content and information to people. It's contextually aligned, and we're seeing really strong engagements with very high engagement rates. So, strategy and approach. Wanted to spend just a quick minute and talk a little bit about maybe some headwinds, because there are some challenges. We are starting to see a little bit of softening. In hotel performance from STR for March of 2023, year over year, down about a percent point with occupancy, ADR softening a little, hotel demand softening a little bit. Nothing serious, but we're starting to see this, and when we look out a little bit in the future again, we're just starting to see a little bit of softness. In the short-term rental market, again, for March of 2023, year over year, a little bit more softness. So these are things that we are very concerned about in making sure that these are just blips and not trends. So we're watching this carefully and really baking this into strategy. Another really interesting aspect too is just looking at the top DMAs, our source markets, their seasonal visitation trends, summer, fall. And what we're seeing here, these two versus these two. At the top, we're looking at 2021. At the bottom, we're looking at 2022. So this is looking back a bit. This isn't looking into 2023, but you can see that the percent into the summer-fall period shrank. And summer-fall is where we want to make sure that we're doing a really good job, because that tends to be the softer season. We can fill in winter. That's not really the big challenge. You want to make sure that you have nice, year-round, smooth seasonality to make sure that everybody has good occupancy, good performance, and it also helps mitigate some of the kind of sustainability issues as well as traffic congestion and other things. It's nice to spread. And so we want to make sure that we're being very effective in keeping that spread, building back into that summer-fall season. Travel prices too are, I think, the biggest, most alarming aspect of the data here. And look at the shape of that graph from March of 2021. You're just looking at a % change in travel prices overall. Hotel airfare, the largest component of that indicator. And as we get into 2023, you can see it's a pretty sharp increase with no real sign of softening at this point. We may see that. We're starting probably to see that softness going into the next quarter, and things are going to mitigate, and hopefully that starts to taper back down. But in the airfare industry, we're really not seeing that. We're seeing that airfares continue to be pretty high. So there's a couple of little headwinds there. So what are we going to do? What's the direction? What's the strategy? We know that we want to innovate. That's Visit St. Pete Clearwater. That's what Steve and Katie and Eddie come to us and say, you got to be innovative. This is what you have to do. But there's an extent to which innovation sometimes, for its own sake, might get in the way of sticking with what's working well. And when we kind of work back into the data and what we've done into the media buy for going into the next couple of quarters, we're very happy with the way things are performing. We kind of didn't want to mix it up. And we already feel that we're definitely doing a lot in pushing innovation in the very sophisticated kind of ad units and markets that we enter into. Efficiency, too, is a big consideration in that when you extend something, you don't have to pony up to the minimum buy. That's just basic advertising. Some of those really sophisticated ad units, for example, cost a lot to build. And so when you can keep that unit and just extend it into the summer and the fall, there's a lot of efficiency. So we baked that into our plan for the direction going forward. Awareness, positive sentiment, consideration, we're seeing good engagement there. So again, it's that kind of keep going, stay with what you're doing. It's smart. And finally, by and large, just to summarize, stay the course. We've got a couple of little new ad units, a couple new buys, but overall, we're very, very pleased with where things are going and how they're performing. So we're not going to be mixing it up as much as sometimes we do. We're also extremely happy with the creative. Let's Shine is performing very well, so we want to make sure we're leaning into that. If you summarize just at a top level, there's 3 big things we do: awareness, engagement, conversion. The awareness is making sure that people understand the complexity of the destination and all that it offers. The engagement is getting them to explore content, whether it's social or on the website or in all of the other different forms of content and marketing communications channels. We want them to engage with that. We do that through long-form content and rich media. And finally, conversion. We want them to plan a trip, make a booking, do the things that we want them to do. So that's a little lower in the funnel. And what we do in those areas is use things like display and text as well as static ads. So from that, we talked a little bit about our core markets. Drive markets are a very big part of our summer-fall plan. You know our fly markets, that's basically all states east of the Mississippi River, Texas, Ontario, Canada. And then there are BVK miles kind of aligned, integrated markets that include Atlanta, Cincy, Indianapolis, Nashville, and Chicago. In the data here too is also something I just kind of wanted to let you know. We're very lucky, both of the agencies here, in working with Visit St. Pete Clearwater, in that they make investment into top technologies. So there's some Zartico data here. Zartico takes tons of data sources and bubbles it all up into these beautiful dashboards that allow you for 20 different kinds of analytical deep dives, see what's going on, see what markets make sense. All of this is informing the strategy in where we're selecting markets, where we're placing your dollars. So on the spring-summer plan, we talk about these all the time, and I'm not going to do that again. These are the always-on things. They are always continuously making sure that you have presence, awareness, frequency, reach, all of the things that you need to do to make sure that there's continuity in awareness, engagement, and conversion. In social, it's Facebook, Instagram. In search engine marketing, it's regular good old search in Google and other environments as well as YouTube. In programmatic, we use Adgenuity and Sojourn as sophisticated, behaviorally targeted, first-party enriched databases that we send our advertising out to. And then on a custom basis, we work with Atlas Obscura, Expedia, and Nativo. So specifically for summer, looking at the new ad units, going beyond the always-on, we've got OTT and CTV, This is premium streaming. It's Pluto, DirecTV, Samsung TV, Amazon Free Video, Amazon Freevee. All of these are the streaming services that we use to allow travel enthusiasts not exposed to linear or broadcast TV to also have content. And you want to keep in mind that even like a Hulu, for example, 60% of folks that are watching TV are doing it in streaming. And so you want to make sure that you have a strong presence in that market. 30-second commercials, they're skippable. They run during premium content. There are 7-second premium slates and 30-second spots for increased brand recall. All of this works together in addition to what's called a premium slate buy, which means presented by. Gives you that nice kind of shiny presented by brand awareness when you're at the top of the programming. Ads run in the middle of the programming, so there's kind of a nice consistent branded presence of the content. One other thing, Disney has first-party databases, so the Hulu buys allow you to access that first-party. Disney knows their customer. They have deep insight into who, what, where, when, how. And so that allows us to make sure that when we're targeting these types of advertising spots, they're reaching people that we know have travel intent, that want to do the things and experience the products that we're offering within the destination. That matchup and access to that first-party data is extremely powerful in assuring the success of these programs. In programmatic, we're doing quite a bit of audio. These are travel enthusiasts, key markets. They're on the go, they're listening to their podcasts, 15s and 30-second audio lengths, very good engagement, and we're seeing obviously quite a lot of folks maybe working at home, not so much on the broadcast radio, so it's a good time to meet people where they are and engage with them. Undertone is a rich media ad unit. It's similar to that other ad unit that we kind of showed at the top where you can engage with content. You're able to really experience without having to make a click to a website. You can do it right there within the ad unit, play around, have fun. It's really polite in the way that it allows you to consume the content and topical areas of interest on your own. And really, I think one of the things is that it also drives strong site traffic. So it works on two different areas. Pad Squad is one of the newer advertising opportunities that we've engaged with. They're fun, press and hold, or you can scroll along. There's vertical video. It all happens on your device. Very immersive, lots of beautiful visual engagement that allows us to effectively really showcase and what we would call long visual storytelling, as opposed to, again, that simple single image kind of presence that is old school advertising. We can extend this with no minimum because we had a buy into the winter program. Super high impact, politely reveals in the sense that it isn't one of these takeover kind of things. You're just invited to engage with the ad content. Proven performers are the press and hold dual video and the scroller gallery. And then in addition, it really drives the engagement with the ad unit. So summary, you're happy to know I won't be going through this line by line and column by column, but I think you can just kind of look at the big blocks. That's the always on at the top. That's the stuff that's continually going throughout the year. This block, that's your winter program. So those are the little bits and pieces that we buy during the winter. Below that, you see another block that's basically the summer fall, the little extra blocks. Down below, you see some other things that kind of pause in and out throughout the course of the year. And at the bottom, you're in some more always on, but that's into the social and into the search channels. So across the board, you've got really good spread. We've got about 105K that's opportunistic, just holding it out. We haven't committed it. If we run into some fun, exciting things over the course of the summer, who knows what, we want to have a little bit of a fun there that we can use either from the standpoint of addressing a concern or from exploiting a really good opportunity to have a good, efficient buy. Just on basic breakouts, you can see always on is roughly about 50%, spring, summer takes up 16%, co-op 7%, winter 26%. That's how we allocate over the course of the year. The middle graphic shows you from digital to search engine marketing to social, how we split things out. And finally, the third wheel there in the blue shows from display, text or image, long format rich media, as well as video, roughly speaking, a third, a third, a third. Added value, always important to note that we make sure to take advantage of any opportunity to extend your buy. And over the course of the year, $500,000 in negotiated added value, 5 new partners, 9 new tactics, 7 new tactics supporting vertical video, which is extremely sought after format for folks to explore content, 11 pieces of custom long format content, which is the storytelling that we like to do, as well as 2 influencer programs that were initiated this year. So that's digital. Any questions? Appreciate everybody's time. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Now the Film Commission. Now we will have Lisa Dozois from the Film Commission. I probably slaughtered your last name.
Good morning, Madam Chair and council members and my coworkers. I am Lisa Dozois, and I'm the new Film Commissioner for Visit St. Pete Clearwater, and I'm here this morning to present our department updates. I wanted to start by just showing you where we're at halfway into fiscal year 23. As you can see on the chart, we've got 92 projects already completed. That is a total of 244 shoot days, 1,113 local hires, 1,687 room nights, and a local spend of just over $4.5 million. I put onto this slide some logos from brands that you're probably all familiar with. And I know that because we're a film commission, we have the word film in our title. And so film gets a lot of the attention here in Pinellas County. And that's fine and that's fair. But I just wanted to point out that since I have done most of the permitting over the last 9 years that I've worked in the Film Commission, that we're not just about film. We have a lot of commercial work that comes to Pinellas County. We have still photo shoots that happen all the time. People come here to do TV shows and documentaries and music videos. And so just to give you a rundown of the breakdown of the numbers, so far in the 6 months of fiscal year 23, we've had 8 films shoot in Pinellas County, 2 TV shows, 6 reality TV shows, 29 commercials, 20 still photo shoots, 5 documentaries, 1 corporate project, which is usually like a training video, and 14 shorts or music videos that they fall into the other category. And it's just really exciting because right now, today, in our area, we have a popular show on the History Channel. It's a spin-off of the show called Pawn Stars, and it's Pawn Stars Do America. They're in their season 2, and they have come to our area to film 2 episodes for the new season. They have shot in Nova 535, which is an event center in St. Petersburg, and they also filmed in the St. Petersburg Women's Club. And right now they are, so these shows are really great because they come here and they do their show, but they also do a great job showing off the destination. So yesterday I saw Captain Dylan Hubbard has posted on Instagram that the Chumley and Ricky were down at the Johns Pass. They were going out on a fishing boat. They're also in Clearwater Beach going out on the Captain Nemo's. So you know, I'm sure you've watched the shows, so they always, do the show and then they show the destination. So this is really great exposure for our area. A military makeover with Montel. He was here, they were here 2 weeks and filming a house renovation in St. Petersburg. HGTV show Beachfront Bargain Hunt renovation was just here last weekend. And if you're familiar with that show, they talk about the renovation, but then they go out to places like the beach or bars, restaurants, and talk about, you know, what their decisions are, what they're contemplating. TD Bank had a commercial shoot here with one of the Toronto Blue Jays stars on it. So there's just a lot happening. And I just wanted to share that. Oh, Dick's Sporting Goods, they come here all the time. They've been coming here for the last 5 years. They do all of their print and video campaigns for all of their spring and summer work. Same with HSN. They film at Fort DeSoto, downtown St. Pete, Clearwater Beach. So that's just something I wanted to point out, that a lot of people, well, first of all, a lot of people don't even know that the Pinellas County has a film commission, but then once they realize we have a film commission, they don't really fully understand or know all of the production that happens all the time. And these are just projects that are permitted. If you are filming on public property in Pinellas County, you will go through our office to obtain a permit. And there's a lot of production that happens on private property that we don't even hear about because we don't need to get involved. And that's unfortunate because we lose a lot of the economic impact from those shoots. So that's one thing that we try to work on when we can. I know a lot of the location people, so I can at least get them to complete a permit application. That's where we track our economic impact data. So some of those numbers we are able to capture. So I want to talk a little bit about our business development marketing program, our cash rebate program, which is also our incentive program, goes by lots of names. The number one reason that we have it is mainly to say yes to when people say, do you offer an incentive program? So if we just said no, end of conversation, they would move on to someone else. But at least we can answer the question positively and continue that conversation and then explain more about it, what it consists of, you know, where we're located, answer any how it works. So it is important to have, and it keeps us competitive. As you all know, the state of Florida does not have a state-funded incentive program, but we are one of 7 counties in Florida that has a local incentive program. So it helps us to be competitive with those other counties, and we also partner when it makes sense with Hillsborough County because they have an incentive program too, so we can make that percentage a little bit higher and attract more production. Some of the highlights for fiscal year 23 that have taken advantage of our local cash rebate program. We have had 6 feature films shoot in the destination, 7 made-for-television films, and 1 travel show. And let's see. Oh, and then now there are some things that we're talking about, how to improve the program. And we will be I'll be meeting with Steve and some people who have actually taken advantage of the program, some applicants who have gone through the process. I will be talking with other film commissions, and just to get an idea of what's working, what may not be working as we had expected it to, and how we can make it better. So nothing has been decided yet, so these are just some ideas that we've been kicking around. For example, we're going to revise the application. I was talking to somebody at a recent film festival who just said, you know, your application is really long and it's really cumbersome. So we're going to take a look at that and see how that can be simplified. Another thing that we would like to consider is putting together a team or a committee to help choose the projects that that are awarded contracts who are invited to participate in our program. We're going to take a look at the additional percentages that we're offering. There's a baseline 10% of local spend that we're offering. There's other levels that go up from there, 20%, and it can go as high as 30%. So we're going to take a look at those different percentages and make sure that we're getting a good value for those and tweak them as needed. We would like to also have a requirement that the people who are getting funding through our program hire at least one person who has completed one of our workforce development programs. Now, the Film Commission has 2 different ones that are currently in place. We have partnered with local studio Blue Water Media in Clearwater, and they are we are putting together, we have already launched this is more of a in-person, hands-on, topic-specific training program. So the first course was a mandatory Production 101, where you learned on-set basics, and everybody who was participating in our program was required to attend this class. From there, they had the option to break off and choose different areas that they wanted to focus in. So some of the others, and these were smaller hands-on group training opportunities with about 8 to 10 people in each. The Production 101 had 46 participants, and then the subsequent courses had smaller levels, numbers of people. So we've taught them grip and electric, camera operation, audio, and location management. Now we're about to launch a second type of training program. This is going to be a different structure with a different partner, Stage 32, and it'll be an online self-paced video instruction course, and it'll be a number of different topics that you learn about, watch the video, take a test at the end, and then you can receive a certificate in that particular topic. So some of the topics that are in the second type of the program are different types of contracts, different types of incentive programs, and learning about production budgeting, because those are all very important skills to teach our residents so that they can go out and start working on these projects that are taking advantage of our incentive money. So, okay, moving forward, some of the things that I am planning to work on are, well, first of all, we need to build a new Film Commission team. I was promoted from my position in the Film Commission, so that's left my job vacant, so we are working to fill that. We're also interviewing this starting next week for an intern, which will be shared by our other departments, but I will be, the Film Commission will be getting some of those intern hours. And another thing that we want to work on is to update our crew and our locations database. Now, the crew database is very important as we build the incentive program, but what's happened is it's got some information that's dated. People have moved on to other states, or some people have passed away. Some people have just, gone on to work in other types of businesses. So we really need to make a big push to update the crew database. And that's something that is happening throughout the state of Florida, because when we're attracting a production from out of state or out of the area, we want them to know that they will find a trained and experienced crew here, so they don't have to fly in their own people to work on these projects. Same with the locations database. That's our number one. It's a big marketing tool for us, and it's a database of photos that shows different film-friendly locations throughout Pinellas County. I would also like to expand the filmography page. That's just a listing of all the projects that have shot in the area, and that is in need of a big, huge overhaul, considering all of the projects that have shot in the last 2 years here. Another thing I want to do is to share with everybody what's been shot in Pinellas County. As I was explaining earlier about all the commercial and the still photo shoots, they come and they do their projects and they air on television, and as I'm watching, I'll see something, I'll be like, I know that commercial, but a lot of us don't know that those things were shot here in Pinellas County. So I'd like to really promote that on our social media, and along with the films that are filming here, show the commercials or highlight the areas that are included in different projects, and let people know when the beachfront bargain hunt renovation is airing so they can watch it, because they do a phenomenal job showing off the destination. I mean, the beaches look just spectacular. And moving into film tourism. I mean, we've had so much production here, and that is a trendy topic right now. It's huge in Atlanta, and although we would never be able to compete with Atlanta because they're just everywhere in Georgia, seems to be a backlot and a movie set, and the film tour buses are very popular. But we can give it a shot. I think we can. There's enough locations here, including Clearwater Mini Aquarium, which kind of is the granddaddy of film tourism. We can put together a really nice program it might not draw people here, it might not be the reason for coming, but once they're here, we'll give them another thing for them to do in our destination. So that is something that I'm looking forward to. And of course, we'll continue promoting the destination at all of the events and the film festivals that we have included in our budget. One of the upcoming film festivals is the Sunscreen Film Festival. We are the headline sponsor and have been for a number of years. This is happening next week, April 27th through 30th at AMC Sundial in St. Petersburg. This is a wonderful opportunity for the Film Commission to show off. It attracts filmmakers not only from Florida, but from outside the state and outside the country. I think there's something over 150 films that'll be shown over the 4 days. There's also quite a lot of workshops, there's learning opportunities, there's plenty of opportunities for networking. One of the things that the Film Commission does is take visiting filmmakers on a tour of film-friendly filming locations. So I already have a minibus filled, 25 people I'm taking around to different areas in South County, and it's a great opportunity to meet with these filmmakers in a smaller setting, show them the St. Petersburg waterfront. We go over to Gulfport, we go down to Paso Grill Beach, and we go over to Fort DeSoto and stop at one of the shelters and have a picnic lunch there, and they can actually go out and see the water, and they take pictures and they post all over the social. So it's a really good time to explain what the Film Commission does and why they want to be here and talk about our incentive program. And the opening night is Thursday, April 27th, and that, as usual, will consist of a red carpet, and we'll have a screening of A Taste of Love, and after that will be a Q&A with 3 of the stars of the film will be here. And you are all invited, and with a +1. And if you are interested, you can just send me an email, and I'll make sure that you're on the VIP list. And that concludes my update. Are there any questions?
Questions, members?
I do want to tell you that A Taste of Love was filmed in Dunedin.
Yes, as was the recently finished Valentine's Town, which some of you may have seen a little bit of media coverage about that as well. Both will show off the destination beautifully.
Hi, Lisa. That's real exciting things. It's a great presentation. Thank you. Question, as a film is coming in, is there any method of notification so that hotels or even meeting venues can get an RFP and try to get some of that business? A few summers ago, we got the crew for a reality TV show, and it was phenomenal. It was about $100,000 in revenue for us that in over a 6-week period. How did we connect with these filmmakers when they're coming to town?
Yeah, now that was a bigger production, and sometimes, especially if they're coming from Los Angeles, they will work with our meetings and conventions team to begin with to put in their needs, the room nights, and their dates that they'll be here. And then our meetings team usually will send out their requests for proposals, and that's probably how you were notified of that project. On the bigger shoots, we have done that when we are allowed. Sometimes we don't know these projects are coming in till last minute, so that is something that we can work on to try to improve and to find out where they're going to be based, what their needs are, and then reach out to the proper areas for some help with lodging.
Okay, thank you.
But one of the problems is that you all are so booked usually that it's hard even for the film crews to find availability at an affordable price. So they will tend to go more inland when they can, where we forget it. We don't even try to sometimes put someone on the beach in the spring break season. So.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes there's also opportunity at the end of it. They do the end of shoot party, celebration, things like that. That's nice to be able to make contact with them if that's available.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mayor?
Yes, I would respectfully request that you also run one of the mini buses up this way. You talked about the aquarium, we talked about Dunedin, we talked about Clearwater Beach. It'd be nice to have an option for people to come up and see what we have to offer up here also.
Yes, we actually have two different itineraries. We have a North County and a South County. So just due to the timing, we're only allowing 4 hours. So it's hard to cover the entire Pinellas County. So when we have a festival that is based in North County, like the Dunedin Film Festival, we did do the North County tour, which did go out to Clearwater Beach, and it went to Safety Harbor and up to Tarpon Springs. So it really is. It's dependent on the location of the festival headquarters, so we'll see what we can do. And I'm sure you're all aware of the traffic that can throw a wrench in all of the itinerary schedules. So, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you very much, Lisa.
Thank you.
And now Craig Campbell with National Travel and Tourism Week activities. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. Excited to share a couple sneak peeks of upcoming projects with you all. Just a couple slides here, so we'll be short and sweet. First, National Travel and Tourism Week. So quick refresher on what exactly National Travel and Tourism Week is. It's an annual tradition for the U.S. travel community. It's a time when travel and tourism professionals across the country unite to celebrate the value travel holds for our economy, businesses, and personal well-being. So it's right around the corner, May 7th through the 13th. We've got a wide range of activities planned throughout that week, and various partners and stakeholders will be participating with us along the way. So obviously VSPC staff, a number of local partners, residents, and visitors. So pretty much every stakeholder, every touch point we have, we're gonna try to include them in some capacity. So what exactly do we have planned during that week? So it will kick off with Tourism Day with the Tampa Bay Rays. So details are still being ironed out here, but essentially it's like a presenting sponsorship sort of day with the Rays, which would include pre-game activation spaces inside and outside the stadium to touch point attendees, pre-game messaging, in-game promotions, a radio interview with Steve during the Rays broadcast. So excited about all those different opportunities to push our community campaign. So a couple months ago, I believe it was February, I presented and indicated we were slowly rolling out and testing out our community-based messaging and a campaign. So we're using the Rays game now as a launch pad for the next phase of that campaign. So we'll have a lot more information on what that looks like in the coming weeks and months, and excited to share an update in the future there. And thank you to Katie, BVK, and Steve for collaborating on that campaign. Day number 2 here, so backed by popular demand here, we're working with our friends at PIE to host a travel rally with our local chamber partners. So really the intent is to welcome visitors into the destination. So as they get off their plane, they're gonna have a really fun experience in the baggage claim area there at PIE. So we'll have a prize wheel, we'll have Creative Pinellas there promoting the art scene, 3 Daughters there giving a taste of the Gulf Coast, and then of course our 13 local chamber partners there with tables to promote their various communities. And we've encouraged them and working with them on setting up some offers so that the visitors can come into the destination, experience their community, and ultimately drive business and dollars into their local businesses. So that's always a fun day. I think that's probably the 4th year we've done that. Hugely popular with our chambers. Day number 3 here, so Tuesday, May 9th, is the 3rd annual Pineapple Cup. This is our opportunity to interact with our kind of counterparts at Visit Tampa Bay. And new this year, we've invited our friends up in Pasco, AKA the Florida's Sports Coast, to participate this year. So 2 years ago, we hosted the first iteration, and that was a shuffleboard tournament down in St. Pete. That was a great, interaction in the midst of COVID. So got a lot of traction there. And then last year, Tampa hosted us for a game of bocce ball. The results are still under dispute to this day. But we're hoping to bring back the Pineapple Cup in a friendly game of kickball up in Oldsmar on May 9th. So I'll be doing some stretching here shortly. So the next day, Wednesday, May 10th, kind of an off day from a local programming standpoint, but Steve and others from our team will be attending the Visit Tampa Bay annual luncheon. And then Thursday, May 11th, been working with the Tarpon Springs Chambers, the Palm Harbor Chamber, and they're gonna lead us on a tour of their communities. So VSPC staff will be out in those 2 communities on 11th and learning everything we can about those communities. So a good educational opportunity there. And then Friday, May 12th, the Tampa Bay Beaches annual luncheon. Excited to partner with Robin and her team on that luncheon. And that concludes a rather robust schedule of events for National Travel and Tourism Week. And those are just a handful of ways that we're kind of celebrating the value of tourism during that week. So excited to share results and photos and all that good stuff in the coming months. Kind of a hard pivot to my next update here, Elite Events. So where are we at with Elite Events? Kind of a recap here. The application window has closed. So that was open during the month of March 3rd through the 31st. We held a public information webinar on March 6th, so to reinforce some of the guidelines and address any questions. That was attended by 47 unique individuals. That does not include internal staff or anyone on the back end there, so strictly organizers. And then communications-wise, I thought we did a fabulous job of spreading the word about the funding opportunities via a number of different industry updates, aka e-blasts, and then every organizer that has applied for funding in the past 5 years received additional communications. And then we reached out to our municipal and chamber partners to help spread the word as well. So kind of the initial results here of that application process. So 47 applications were submitted by the deadline there into March, and a total request of $2.6 million. For some context, last year which was a record. We had 35 applications and 1.9 million total requested. Following the review process, we had 31 of those 35 approved, and then 1.5 million up to funding ultimately agreed upon and funded there. And then fiscal year 22, that was a high water mark at that point in time as well. So 20 applications, right at $1 million approved for funding. So you can just see the growth of, the interest of that program, 150% there almost. So where are we at right now? Next steps, those 47 applications, VSPC staff, thank you, Michael Zoss and your office for helping us with the review. We're deep diving into all of those applications, and we are on track right now to present recommendations to you at the May 17th budget meeting. And then as far as who is looking at these applications, certainly a robust team here, VSPC staff, Steve, Terry Tuxhorn, myself, Katie Bridges, Eddie Kirch, kind of the key internal staff. But we're bringing in our various partners, BVK, certainly from a media and marketing value standpoint, helping us understand what that looks like, destination analysts, so all the research we've been performing at these events for the past 3, 4, 5 years, bringing all that information to the table, help us inform some of our recommendations, and then our local PR firm as well. So again, we'll have a lot more information coming for May 17th, and excited to share those recommendations at that time. That's it. Any questions about National Travel Tourism Week or elite events?
Any questions? No? Mayor?
Wanted to thank you guys for being out at the Highland Games.
That was an
Which
awesome.
was an elite event, and I made sure to go find your tent, and it was probably the most packed games I've ever seen in my life. Most people were either drunk on Dunedin Brewery beer or the fine scotch that was floating around. It was a lot of fun watching the big burly men throw cabers and rocks and listening to the pipe band competitions. And thank you guys for being there. I thought it was very successful.
Great event.
Thank you. Anybody? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we're on to Steve Hayes and his CEO reports. Destination metrics.
Great, thank you, Madam Chair. And I'll ask the gentleman in the back to help guide me through the presentation, which will keep me on target. First item I want to go over is tourist development tax numbers. This is on the monthly basis, so this is the collections from February of 2023. We were at 10.5 million, which was 11% increase over 2022. From a fiscal year standpoint, we are at 37 million compared to 34 million in fiscal year 22. When you look at the reasoning behind it, it's a combination of not only increased occupancy for the fiscal year, it's for the hotel motel is up 7.9%, and increase in rate, which is up 18%. Graphically from the chart, the black line represents where we are fiscal year 2023. Next slide, please. If you look at the collections by municipality, you can see what the collections were for each of those. There was one area that was a negative, and that was the Bel Air Beach area. Otherwise, everybody was up. And again, I know last month we did have the presentation by the tax collector's office to kind of go over the hows and whats of the collections and the numbers, especially that miscellaneous and other category. Next slide, please. Looking at lodging. Now, first thing I'm going to do, you're going to notice that this says March, but your packet has February. I got March's numbers last night, so I wanted to plug them in here to bring it a little bit more up to date. So looking at hotel occupancy, we're at 84% compared to 83% in 2022. On the hotel side, for vacation rentals, we were flat at 90%. On the ADR for hotel, it was at $265 compared to $260 in '22, and ADR for vacation rentals at $308, down a little bit from '22 at $311. When you go back and look at the occupancy, whether beach and inland, and again, I know I repeat this, but just as a reminder, beach is anything that's west of the intercoastal, inland is everything east of the intercoastal. Looking at occupancy, down from 87% to 86% for the beach. Inland was up 2% or 2 percentage points. And then on ADR, it was down $2 for the beach, and then inland was up on that one, $16. Next slide, please. Just graphically looking at occupancy, this is for calendar year, so you can see where we are in January, or for 2023, that is the black line, and the gray is 22, so it gives you an idea of where we are compared to last year, but also we still are showing 19, just from a relevant standpoint, just to make comparisons, since that was everything pre-COVID. If you go to the next slide, you're looking at ADR. Again, 2023 is the black line. Gray is 2022. Go to the next slide. Now we get into vacation rental, and this is for March. The ADR, again, as we mentioned earlier, was down 1%. Occupancy was up 1%. Adjusted RevPAR was flat, and length of stay was flat as well. If you go to the next slide, and this one we're looking forward 90 days, so May, June, and July. Right now, ADR is up 15%, but we're looking at occupancy down 11%, RevPAR being down 2%, but length of stay is up 5%. I did include in your packet a look even going forward, even into through December, because again, I'm trying to look at pace. So I did not include that with this overall presentation, but at least you have the numbers there in what we're looking at. And from there, you are just make a quick comparison with that. You're looking at ADR. This is June through December. ADR being up 15%, occupancy up 4%, RevPAR up 12%, and length of stay up 4%. So again, looking forward. If you go to the next slide, this is something new because I wanted to show this after our discussion last month when it came down to the online travel agencies. And this looks at the supply here in Pinellas County for Airbnb and VRBO. And I can look backwards and look into 22, but I wanted to see if you find this relevant, then I'll start including this. But you can see the pinkish orange color represents Airbnb, the blue represents VRBO, and you can see by month the supply, the number of listings that are available within the county. So you can see it stays pretty consistent for January, February, and March, but then does jump for April. That's for Airbnb. VRBO is pretty consistent. When I go back and look at last year, you see somewhat of the same trend, where you'll see a jump up in more of the summer months, and then it'll come back down. If you find this information useful, I'll continue to report it, but I think it's good just to see the supply of what's out there. There was an article that I caught, I think it was about a couple of weeks ago, and it was talking about like your Airbnb, VRBO markets and what's happening out there. And in some markets, there is so much supply that all of a sudden you start to see price coming down. which then affects other things. And so, it's one of those things to watch. At some point, when supply exceeds demand, then you're going to see some changes there. But we'll continue to watch that. I saw 2 hands go up. Yes, Mayor.
I think it's worthwhile to see. I think it would be also good to have hotel units next to it so that we can watch that trend together to see if one thing is affecting another. Because I know there's a whole ton of hotels being added to our county stock. So watching that go up and seeing what's happening with vacation rentals, I think can tell you something. I'm not exactly sure what, but I do think there's something to be said.
Well, you are right from a supply standpoint. In fact, the latest report that I had, you're looking between Clearwater, and the report I get looks at Clearwater being basically North County and St. Pete being South County. That's how they break it out. You're looking at 3 to 4% increase in inventory for both of those different areas. And I know there's properties that weren't even listed on there. So that that's going up, especially, I don't know if you caught the article in St. Pete Rising, but even what they're doing with the Serrata property and adding. And so again, that just adds to the supply, which then affects, do we also have the demand going forward? Yes, Clyde.
Steve, I do think that's useful. Be interesting to see that year over year so we can see how the inventory is growing in the vacation rental market. I'd also be interested in seeing the miscellaneous revenue. That's such a big number, and we see the growth year over year on the data you give us. But I'd like to see that maybe going back, not every month, but from 2019 to see how that has grown into the tax base. Thank you.
We'll be glad to do that.
Councilor Gertis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, you beat me to it on looking at that data from a room night and hotel and where rooms have gone from an inventory standpoint. It would be helpful also to understand if we're looking at a percentage based on of occupancy a few slides ago, percentage of occupancy based on the new inventory. Like my guess is there's more people staying here, but the percentage might be flat because it's a percentage of new inventory. It'd be interesting to see the correlation between what the inventory has become and where that percentage sits. I think that helps us get a little bit more granular and might show us that, okay, well, if we dipped 1% of occupancy, but we've created 4% in new inventory, it's not really a dip. And so I'd rather be a little bit more granular on that occupancy and maybe look at like total overall hotel nights in comparison to years past, rather than just a percentage of occupancy. So that was kind of all in the same. I was going to wait till the end, but while we were talking about it, I thought it was relevant. So the more granular we can get on occupancy, both beach and inland, when I think about St. Petersburg, there's 5 new hotels that have come on in downtown St. Pete just in the last year. That's a lot of inventory. And so based on a percentage, it's going to look like we're flat, but I can't imagine that that's the case. And so just get a little bit more granular, I think would be helpful.
So do you know how many rooms that
I've got to think it's probably in the 300 or 400 range. I mean, it's 100 and something rooms for the 3 I can think about. There's 3 more coming on in 2023. AC Marriott just opened last week with a ribbon cutting. So inventory is going up, and my guess is that's for everybody. It's not just us. And so I don't want us to look and see that a percentage is dropping, even though we're all getting more hotel nights. So
good point.
Thank you.
Anyone else on this subject? No? All right.
Great.
Next.
Next slide, please. Just a profile of the visitor. This is for February of 2023. Items that are bolded would be those that have a significant difference. So in 2023, we saw the daily spend up significantly over 2022. Party size was equal. The other one, decision to arrival, how many days? You're almost looking double. And so again, I think, when you look at the time of year people are visiting, especially for the winter. They're planning a lot further out, especially when they think that there may be not enough supply and there's a lot of demand for a place. They're planning further out, which is actually good. As far as the mean days and nights, while they're up on both of those, it wasn't significant. Percent stayed overnight. That one did drop, so it showed we had more day trippers. Average age was roughly the same, but you also saw a significant drop within the average income. Now, what's interesting with that, when I went back and looked at it, one of the things that I did see, and this one comes back to the generations, we saw that the me generation, my generation, the boomers, was a higher percentage of travelers compared to what we saw in 22 and 21, and you saw a drop within the Gen X. So looking at it from a dollar standpoint, typically the boomers have the resources, but I think also with where things are from an inflation standpoint, having the available dollars, maybe a little more frugal in what they're having available to spend. Also in the February profile, a couple other things that I saw that stood out. One was media recall. And so when we look at our ad effectiveness study, and this is something that Destination Analyst does for us on a yearly basis, last year, 47%, on average, 47% of the people saw our ads in the different marketplaces that we were at. In this one, these are surveys conducted in the market, so you're talking to visitors in the market. And in the month of February, the media recall, it was at 52%. So again, I think it's important that people are out seeing our message. I will have to share, I had family members in town this weekend, and a bunch of them drove on I-75, and every single one of them made a point of telling me about our billboards that they saw coming down on 75, which was kind of cool to hear. But again, the fact is that they saw our ads. The other one was the amount of first-time visitors, and again, that was at 17%. And I think that's critical as well, because again, we show that if we can get them here, they want to come back. And so that repeat visitor is high. So we want to keep the new visitors within the funnel. So just a couple other items that were on the February visitor profile. Next slide, please. So Katie talked about this in her presentation, but the American Marketing Association at their annual awards banquet, I just want to say kudos to the staff and our team. When I say our team, I also mean the folks from Miles Partnership as well as BVK. But everyone overall, because this isn't something that it happens after 1 year. This is something that's been happened over time. And this was as we accepted the award that night. And I think looking at the other organizations that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, I think is pretty incredible. So congratulations to our team and partners to make that happen. It was certainly fun to be there. I will say when you looked at some of the awards that they were given out that night, based on what we've produced, I think we need to enter more of these things. And this isn't something we entered in. We got an email that said, congratulations, you are being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I thought it was one of those joke emails on a Monday morning, and then had to realize it was actually real. But again, it's something they recognize the various campaigns, and based on the work that our team does, as well as our partners, I definitely see us participating next year, and maybe even get marketer of the year. Tallahassee update, just real quickly, House Bill 7503. At this point, there is still no Senate bill. It is still only in the House. Currently, that bill sits in the House Ways and Means Committee. It has not been put on the agenda to be scheduled. It could be heard Friday, We would not know that until late Thursday afternoon, but the window that's out there to be able to get that heard in committee is closing rapidly. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean it can't come up in another form, and so we'll remain diligent. If we hear of things, then we will pass that on very, very quickly. And I know from this standpoint of, I know we've got a couple members of the TDC who are also members of Florida Restaurant Lodging Association. I know they'll hear things. I know Tricia was up in Tallahassee the last time we had our meeting and was actually talking with some folks about that. So I think there's a lot of ears. We just need to, keep our ears open. And as we know more, we will certainly pass that along to everybody.
So who's the sponsor of that bill?
There were two sponsors. I'll let you guys know who that is. I do have the name of the two reps.
The reason I ask is because depending on how savvy they are, if it's sitting in Ways and Means, they could pull that right up onto the floor if they were in session and they were trying to force it through. So, got to be really, really vigilant.
It is Representative Yeager and Representative, and I am going to massacre the name, Gillum Bardo. Yeager is out of Pasco. The other gentleman is out of Lee County.
Okay.
Just general items related to tourism. I know this morning we had Eddie and Scott and Katie give an update of where we were. I wanted you guys to be aware, marketing-wise, what we have going on out there. Again, I think Scott said it, and I know in talking, in a couple of conversations I've had, is that, there's now that Easter's over, it's like, okay, some people are saying I can get back to normal. But the bottom line is, I know there might be some softening out there, so I wanted to make sure we've got right messaging out there, that we're hitting the markets we need to hit. And again, in both cases, both through BVK and Miles Partnership, we got some strong programs that are going out. But I wanted you guys to know what we're doing. That way, if you're, if someone asks you, you have an idea of what's happening. And again, there was a lot that was gone through today. The presentations are online, so we can always direct people there to look at it as well. Also wanted to bring up, again, we continue to push out any messaging that we may have from Kelly and Public Works related to red tide. We've been fortunate that, the levels have been low to non-existent, which is great. I was out at the beach on Monday with my brother who's visiting, and very windy day, but again, nothing that was out there. So it was great from that perspective. We also, from a message standpoint, because now all of a sudden you get the messaging regarding the sargassum seaweed, and they keep talking about Florida beaches, and they keep talking about Gulf of Mexico, again, showing the fact that we do not have that here. But again, monitoring our messaging from that standpoint. The other element as well, National Travel and Tourism Week. Again, some great things that are going on. We've got something, pretty much happening every single day. I did want to mention on Friday with the Tampa Bay Beaches Chamber, they're doing an event where they're going from the luncheon down to St. Pete using the Sunrunner as well. So they're kind of trying to tie in two different places. So again, I think trying to get out of our normal, our comfort zone. For the staff, we had during in-service day for the county, we actually did like a self-fam of the Oldsmar Safety Harbor area, and it was absolutely incredible. And so now we're going to go up to Tarpon and Palm Harbor, and what we're going to do is hit different communities at different times of the year. So we get to know what's going on, and again, what helps sells a community, because sometimes we're in other communities more than others, and so I think making sure that we're familiar with it. So we're excited about going up to there, and then any of the future communities that we end up going to. But National Travel and Tourism Week certainly celebrates this industry. It is extremely important. I think you all know that. And as we communicate more and more to the residents and businesses of how important tourism is. Out at the beach on Monday with my brother, he made the comment that they were talking to. They went and had breakfast at a little joint, and they were saying I was on a Sunday. And the owner there was like, okay, this is like this is it. This is the last day, because that was spring break was officially over. And of course, Monday, it was just as busy. So, but again, I think people realize when season is and when it starts to slow down. What we want to ensure is that we have business continue to come in, because again, we have many small businesses that all depend upon what we're doing and what you're doing together to help tell our story. And then finally, Madam Chair, thank you for being such a great rep for us in the UK. It was really great, the fact that we got the message from economic development to say, hey, we're going over for this. The Madam Chair would be going. She did ask for some comments, so we sent that to her. But then the other part is I put them in touch with our rep firm over there and said, if there's any way that you can help over there, even though it's not, quote, tourism related, but it helps that overall message, please help. And I think they ended up doing a presentation to the group. So again, gives them the visibility of what's going on. So thank you for being our rep and holding down the fort over there. So,
well, and Mayor Onks was there as well. He did a great job.
Great. I could add, I appreciate when, I think it was the young lady from, was it Visit Florida, was brand new, and the chair had to remind her it's not Tampa, it's Tampa Bay, on more than one occasion.
I did say that.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Good. So the last thing, just to follow up on, and Lisa kind of brought this up, and again, I appreciate her making the presentation today. I know last meeting we introduced Lisa to the group and coming into the Film Commission position, but a chance to tell a little bit about what they're doing. As she said, she's busy on board getting someone to fill her position. In regards to the other positions, I was hoping I would have an announcement today on community relations. That may be at the end of this week, but we do have a finalist on that. And so we're excited about that direction and what we have going on. Right now, we had a position open up, or that was under the Content Community Communications Coordinator. Actually, that closed on Friday with 97 applicants.
Wow.
Which was actually, I think Eddie was actually wishing for 3 more just to go through and make the one. Yeah. So, and it is interesting is the number of people that we've had apply for positions that has increased over the last month and a half. So showing availability of folks that are out there. Right now, we're in the process of 6 positions that we're interviewing. So we have folks coming in and out of the office that we're talking to. And again, as we announce those, we'll be able to go through and pass those along. So that's all I have.
Excellent. Thank you for that report. And lastly, but not least, board member comments and/or discussion. Anyone? Doreen?
Thank you. Just wanted to make a couple of comments. Steve, you were talking about the staff going to the communities. And in times past, whether it was community and the relations person, but in any event, VSPC used to offer hospitality partners, staff, the ability to be able to go and see things in communities. So in other words, downtown, they could come out, they could see Clearwater Marine, you know what I'm saying? They could go to different communities to help them understand, because all of us in the hospitality business are selling all of Pinellas County. And we see more and more of that, whether it's arts and culture, whether it's activities, or even outdoor things. So it's logistically a challenge, I realize, but you know, hey, get a bus and open it up to hospitality off times of the year. Not that we ever have those. So just wanted to mention that it tweaked when you made the comment. And then the other thing, tying off to Brian and Chair about the use of Tampa Bay, I just kind of wanted to go from what I found as a negative experience and how your comments today with the Virgin rep, I don't know his official CFO, CEO of Virgin Atlantic Airlines. And when they had their premiere, Steve heard me harp on this, when they had their premiere opening party out after their first flight, unfortunately, the rep only spoke about Tampa, and then there was a very slight, as I was listening, a very slight, almost after the fact mention of Clearwater Beach. And I was just so incensed that they didn't talk about Tampa Bay. So I'm really glad to hear that he got the message.
Well,
somewhere, somehow,
I wasn't
and thank
exactly diplomatic about the way I
Really?
said it. No, I mean, it made me really upset, because we had, up to that point, we had all been working overtime to show a united regional effort.
Yes.
Every one of us. And then this young woman got up there and just waxed on about Tampa. It was all about Tampa. And not only that, but her eye contact as she was speaking was only with the person representing economic development from Tampa. And after I said what I said, I almost felt like I needed to make a mea culpa to Mayor Castor, because she was sitting right there when I said, hey, this is global Tampa Bay. We also have Pinellas County, St. Petersburg, Clearwater. I mean, I was very strong in my comments, and she really didn't want to talk to me after that. Oh, well. But I actually asked Dr. Johnson, who's the head of our county economic development partner, if she had ever had a conversation with this woman. If she's going to be out there representing global Tampa Bay, she's got to change her messaging, in my opinion. Otherwise, she's defeating the purpose of why she's even there. It just made me furious. Right, Brian?
Yes, and we've been fighting this since I was first on here in 1999. It was, I think, a couple of Russ and Phil and anybody else that's been involved, and it sounds like it's still ongoing. The good thing is when the three mayors spoke, we talked about regionalism. You know, I talked about Clearwater Beach and our resorts in Pinellas County, and then the museums in St. Petersburg and the museums in Tampa. So, you know, we promoted that regional message, and hopefully it eventually will sink in.
Well, trust me, this is going to be the year for it, because I'll tell you all about that in a minute. Mr. Kimball.
I would like to say, maybe it's time after 3 years or 4 years, we need to reverse and go back a little bit and do some type of a leisure presentation over there and create our own visit that says the importance of tourism and what's here and everything, a little bit of an old-fashioned way of doing something. And you got to do it with the chair of the county commission. As you know, that opens doors for us to say who comes and does presentations and everything too. That the old-fashioned way of selling may be something we ought to be going back to with mayors and chairs. And the leisure market side, Tampa's got leisure side too that probably they were forgotten about, or the other regions too. So that's a piece that maybe we ought to be looking at. As I went through the digital and all, it's like, okay, what's happening to Europe and Canada and those areas? Are those markets coming back in 23, 24 that we originally were told, or has that changed? So I think that's part of it, because we got a budget coming up next month. So I think those other markets in South America need to be looked at, how we do and where are we from our experience, and how we get back to those type of things and what's selling.
Well, that's really a good point. And to the point about regionalism, I am so proud of the fact that since I've been on the county commission, I have really worked hard to try to figure out a way to get the 3 county commissions to meet together to discuss issues that were common to the 3 counties. Because if you think about it, we all surround Tampa Bay, and our borders touch Tampa Bay. And, you know, we have water issues, we have transportation issues, we have housing affordability issues, and we never get together to talk about the solution as a region. And so we are, for the first time in history, having a regional meeting on May 12th. And I'm really proud of that, and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that we actually sit down and do it, because Pasco and Pinellas have always been united in this effort of trying to get us to chat. It's always been the Hillsborough folks that have put the brakes on it. So, and to that point, there's a very big push now to unite the planning and zoning departments of the MPOs, because if you look at all the areas of the country where they have managed to develop a robust, efficient, effective public transportation system, they all have one thing in common that we have never in 50 years been able to do. And you know what that is? It's one MPO that represents the region, that can speak with one voice and one message. And if you're trying to get state and federal money to help with your transportation issues, that's the first thing they all want to know. Are you here representing the region? And do you have one message and one voice? So that voice, whoever it is, becomes the go-to person moving the dial forward. And that's how we got the money for the first time ever for the Sunrunner line. And the plan was to take that Sunrunner line and start it at the beginning of the spine, which was downtown St. Petersburg. And then it was supposed to go all the way up 19 into Pasco County with an arm that went over the Howard Franklin to downtown Tampa, the airport, and Wesley Chapel. And that was going to be the spine. And so, but now we've lost that voice because I'm not on that committee anymore. So somebody else is going to have to step up. Okay, that's all I have to say on that. Anybody else? Commissioner?
I apologize to have
Henderson.
to digress in something early in the meeting. I had my head down when you asked for anybody else, any other comments, and I looked up and I tried and we had moved on. But getting back to the 8AR and the looking forward May through June, I think I saw somewhere that the average booking window now is 67 days compared to 33 days. And here we're looking at the next 60 to 90 days, May through July. And if I'm reading this right, we're 6% behind. This is like a pace report. That's what I would call it. We're showing May 48% occupancy booked so far compared to 54% last year, 41% for June compared to 47 last year, and 34 in July compared to 37 with a longer booking window. This is a concern for me. I think you mentioned that you're going to inject some more short-term marketing. Did I hear that? Because if we're behind already and the booking window is growing, then that's only going to get a little deeper as far as I can tell. I think the hotels may adjust their rates some to try and get something in, but we're behind pace, 6% for the next 2 months after April, and 3% for July. And I think this is the time you would inject some of that extra 100,000 or whatever you have for extra dollars to try and boost that up and catch up.
And thank you, Phil, for that comment. Going back to that, again, keep in mind that was for the February visitor. We'll go back and look at when you look at the April, May, June, July, that visitor, does that window shrink back down because you're look at your markets, there are drive markets from within the state of Florida, maybe from the southeast, so they are going through and booking closer in. We'll take a look at that.
There's a better chance we can catch up. But the point is we're behind pace. I'm looking at my own business, and for instance, I'll share this with you. I was 2.5% down for March in actual passengers, but I was 5.5% up in revenue. Well, it's great, I get the revenue, but guess what? My expenses are more, so I'm still, even though we're seeing higher revenues and we're seeing higher tax collections, if our tourism base is diminishing, that's got to be a concern. We got to really it's 21, 22, we had that pent-up demand, and people were coming. They couldn't go to the Caribbean, they couldn't go to Europe, they couldn't go on a cruise ship, but all that's gone away, and as Russ was saying, we get back to the traditional stuff, the farther reach, those traditional markets we've had in the past. And looking forward, we really need to pay attention to getting back to normal and getting those markets to come back to make up for the shortfall we're going to have in the pent-up demand that we experienced the last couple of years.
Good comments. Anyone else?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, just briefly, regarding the Tampa Bay item, perhaps someone could reach out to Dana Young. We've been a big supporter of her and Visit Florida, and make sure, because that message could have gotten lost with the young lady and not gone all the way to Dana, and make sure she understands that. And the only other thing, you mentioned the seaweed very briefly. I think a message on that's very important. I got a call from someone that's extremely involved in tourism in the Orlando market, and is very familiar with us. He comes over quite often asking me about how bad the seaweed was on our beaches.
How bad the what? Oh, the seaweed.
Seaweed, just because the national media that's gotten out on that. I think a message on that's very important, that it's not affecting us at this time.
And with regard to speaking to Dana Young, the gentleman that is leading the project for Moffett in Pasco County was part of our delegation, and he certainly heard the conversation. He came over to us afterwards and said, "Thank you, Commissioner, that really needed to be said, and just so you know, I am having lunch with Dana Young as soon as we get back, and she will be definitely receiving the message." So. Anything else for the good of the order? Nothing? Okay, then we are adjourned. Thank you. Listen, everybody.